Okay. Um, been putting this off for a little bit. Shouldn't have been, but trying to get everything right, watching some charts here on the market. And so, anyway, hello everyone. Glad to see that you chimed in and came a look at, take a look at this, what I'm about to talk about. If you saw the descriptions or the title, it says about ABL. What is ABL? Well, if you're on YouTube, ABL is a fan page that I set up on Facebook, and it's called A Better Life. And so I'm going to create a playlist under YouTube that's going to talk about a better life. And a better life is a lifelong set of ideals that I've been working to create into a reality. I'm an avid book reader. An avid personal growth person, spiritual growth person, and so over the years I've read a number of books, and that's about personal performance, personal growth that I want to share alongside some business ideals so that we can create a better life for ourselves. Fundamentally, what I've come to realize is that a better life kind of starts with, it seemingly starts monetarily. I mean, it starts with our money. But in order to get our money right, we got to get our thinking right. And so that's where you get into the personal growth to change your thinking. And the interesting thing about this is that you don't know how we are producing exactly what our thinking currently allows us to produce. We may know a lot more about finances, about relationships, about spirituality, about personal health. For instance, we all know that we need to eat better, exercise more, drink more water in order to enjoy better health, and yet we don't do it. And so we don't reap the benefits from the ideals that we come into the knowledge of. And it just becomes, talk. It just becomes talk, and if we're really going to actually create a better life, we got to bring in another component to this, and it's called accountability. And so, what Better Life is, not just a fan page, but I'm also setting up a private page where we're going to begin to come together, those who want to be a part of this better life concept, and says, what do I need to do to become better in the five key areas of my life, in the in my health, in my relationships, my recreation, in my finances, in my spirituality. What do I need to do, and how do I hold myself accountable until this these philosophies, these truths, these ideals become just a part of the way I think. I love this little part in this movie called The Making of, no, I'm sorry, The $1 Million Baby. Hilary Swank, Morgan Freeman, Clint Eastwood. Great movie. Didn't end well, but the concept of a movie for the better part is great. And in the movie, Hilary Swank's character is trying to become a boxer at age 30, and and so she finally convinced Clint Eastwood's character to be her, to manage her, and then to train her, and the narrative is always good because Morgan Freeman is doing the narrative of the movie, and he's talking about the making of a champion, and he says the making of a champion requires you stripping them down to the wood, and to cause them to think the way that you think and do what you ask them to do until what they're doing is how they feel like they've only thought that way. And it is there's more to the narrative that, and I bring that in because in order to create a better life, and as I've followed various people, and as I've governed my own life, as I've ingested various contents from various books, conversations, interviews, I'm always fascinated about people who achieve greatness in their life, achieve significance in their life, not just monetarily. Those who just some people have such an impact on our lifestyle. For instance, Martin Luther King had such an impact on our life. He didn't become wealthy, not in the sense of we think about a Warren Buffett or Elon Musk, but he was wealthy from the standpoint that he had conveyed ideals that are legacy. They have transcend his time and his. We look back and we can appreciate what he did, at least for the African American community and as American society as a whole, to bring us into a type of parity, in our lifestyles. And so you want to have that. I think that, at least for myself, I want to be able to look back over the course of my life and realize that I made a significant impact. Maybe not on a quantum level, like on a level like Martin Luther King, but definitely among the people that I care about, and maybe outside of the people. I did my little family circle and friends, circle of family and friends, and so in the concepts of better life, there are one of the things that is definitely a source of growth is adopting truths. We all come into this world. We've been exposed to various types of information. We came up in families that we did not choose, for good or for bad. And believe it or not, and things were taught to us through experience, and things were taught to us through the way that we were brought up that were either helpful to us or not necessarily helpful to us. And we're in a season right now where we're really having to make some decisions about how we're going to live the next decade or two. For us who are in the adolescence of old age, in your 60s, your late 50s, 60 years old, you're in the adolescence of old age, you're looking back over your life and saying, okay, have I made the impact? Have I made the impartation? Have I communicated values? Have I, having an effect on the next generation in such a way that I can look back and say, that was good. Not just me, but, there is being a minister and a teacher of the Bible. There's a passage in the Bible where there was this man named Cornelius, who is said that he prayed. He did two things very consistently. He prayed and he gave alms. In other words, he was very generous with his wealth, and he prayed consistently to a God that he really did not have a covenant with. He was praying to the God of the Israelites, the God of the Jews. And it said, it didn't say how he came into the knowledge about the God of the Jews, but nevertheless, he was the first person and a Gentile, or well, his household was the first Gentiles that became the benefactors of the salvation that was made by Jesus Christ. And so, but the thing that he did that was of note was that he prayed consistently and he was very generous. And this is a practice, when you think about it, that anybody can do. Anybody, and I bring his story up because the angel that appeared to him in a dream says your prayer and your alms has come up as a memorial before God. And can you imagine that? That to live your life in such a way that the way that you live is so significant that your activities come up before God, and God says, I'm going to memorial. I mean, your activities, your generosity of heart, your prayer to a God that you really don't have a covenant relationship with, has come up before me as a memorial, come up before me as something that's going to stand, live past your years. It's going to be looked upon and says, you want to see a faithful Gentile? Look at Cornelius, that kind of thing. So, and I think that we ought to strive to live lives that not only impact our society, not only impact our own lives itself, but it impacts others and it gets the attention of God. And I think that, you're living a good life when your activities get the attention of God. And so, so when I think about a better life, I want, it's going to be a blend of concepts that have been filtered through the truth of of the Bible. And so if you have, You're like, oh, okay, this is one of those Bible thumpers. Well, it is what it is. I believe the Bible. I believe that God, I believe the Bible. We're not getting into a message of salvation, but I believe at the end of our days, and I put it to you this way. There is a passage in the scripture in Ecclesiastes that Solomon said. Solomon, who was considered the wisest king that ever lived among the Jews. Well, God sees him to be the wisest king and the wealthiest king that ever lived. And Solomon, in the book of Ecclesiastes, just basically said, I had the wealth, I had the means, I had the influence to do whatever I chose to do. And I did not withhold from my eyes, from my heart, anything I desired to do. He said, I explored it all. And he came to this one conclusion. He said, it's all vanity. He said, so I like to keep that in balance when I think about a lot of the things that we ascribe for in the world, that we define as living a good life, because Solomon says, I did it all. I spared no expense. I explored it all. He said, it's all vanity. He said, vanity of vanity, it's all vanity. And he said, at the end of our days, he said, this is what we're going to have to do. Every man is supposed to give an account to God for the deeds that he's done. And so I tend to weigh in the balance of the things that either makes for a good life or a better life. What are the things that God said he's made available to us that has no eternal value, that has significant maybe significant value here in the earth, but that has no eternal value. And so you're weighed with that. You're like, if God gave you $1 million, what are you going to do with it? You're going to spend it all on yourself. You're going to blow it all on yourself. He gave you $10 million. You're going to, again, what are you going to do with it? And these are not unworthy goals. If the goal is to do something significant with that resource, that again get the attention of God. And that, I don't mean to say that, God bless you with, billions of dollars, that you can get his attention by giving it all away. I mean, if that were the case, then there'd be some people who have met that mark. But I think it's the attitude of heart. I mean, you can't just give it away just to give it away. You give it away because you care about people. You're trying, or you spend it on the things that God cares about. And so, anyway, not to get into about a spiritual aligning ourselves with the Bible per se, because you're gonna creating a better life is there are things that you can do to enjoy life here on the earth, apart from having a relationship with God, apart from developing yourself spiritually. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it, So in any case, so we're just going to explore some of those truths. One of the things that I have been searching for is finding someone who has a healthy balance between our spirituality, our relation, our accountability to God, and our accountability and can say life with man, because you don't want to be so spiritual that you know earthly good, but you don't want to be so earthly that you know heavenly good. You understand? And that's why I say the ultimate, I'm using God as the ultimate accountability partner. Ultimately, a lot of things you may do that it's not going to register on God's radar as significant for him or to him or whatever. It's just a desire of your own heart. For instance, you want a yacht. May not register on God's heart one way or the other for you to have a yacht. He may not have a problem with you having a yacht. As long as you understand that, this is not the being in all of life. You generate $1 billion and you take, $500 million and to own a yacht. It might be something, like I would think God says, if I were God, I would say, you could have spent that money a little bit more wiser in helping your fellow man. That doesn't communicate a whole lot of love towards your fellow man for you to spend it all on yourself, But, that's between you and God. when you think about a better life in our relationships, you think about your influence in your family, your influence with your spouse, your significant other, and your accountability to your neighbor being your brother or that person in your life, the people in your life that you run across that you have the means to provide assistance to, and there are some rules by which you provide that assistance. For instance, if you want to help a missionary group, there's this great book that I read called "When Helping Hands Hurt," and it basically communicates the fact that if you went into a third world nation and you help people come up out of poverty, just throwing money at the situation won't help them deal with their poverty mindset. It, you know, just well, you got to get in there and create a society that embrace the level of prosperity that bring them out of poverty can support, that kind of thing. There's a rule that when you're lending money, if you're wealthy and can lend money, don't lend money to your family or your friends, because money tends to come between family and friends, like, you know, unless that bond is not healthy and strong. If that bond is somewhat sketchy, somewhat fragmented, money can be a detriment to that relationship, and you have to treat it as if, like, look, if you need money, I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to loan it to you. I'm gonna give it to you with the attitude that, look, what you do with it is up to you. If you pay me back, that's up to you. It's totally up to you. I'm not going to hold you responsible. You're in need, I'm going to give it to you, just like you would give someone. And this is not to speak down on the person who may come to you and ask for money, but if you gave money to a homeless person, you don't look for anything in return. In fact, if anything, unbeknownst to you, if you don't know this, that when you lend to the poor, when you give to the poor, you lend to the Lord, and the Lord said He will repay. God said, and so that kind of thing. When we talk about one of the other areas of a better life, we talk about our health. You know, this is an area that there are products and services and gyms and a lot of things. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you're getting seen ads for something that's going to improve the quality of your life and cause you to experience a better quality of life if you take this product. And you have to quantify and do your reviews of hey, this product actually works and this product doesn't work. We know that drinking water works. We know that eating better works. But there's a psychology to health. There's a mindset to health. And there's a spirituality to health. People don't realize that the devil is real, just like God is real, and the devil has minions. The devil has spirits that work on his behalf, and it can affect your quality of health. Finances. I'm taking a look at the end of the trading day here. I like to do some trading, and placed a trade on Apple, thinking it was going to drop because of the Fed news that was going to come out tonight or this afternoon. Well, the news was better than what the market expected, and Apple's price is just $4 a day, which is significant for Apple. So, you know, I hope I'm back. Yeah, I hope I'm back. I got an alarm. My do not disturb was only on for an hour, so I had to. I didn't do this recording in the time that I actually set it up to do that, to do not disturb. So finances. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about personal responsibilities, and we're going to have a kind of a book. Um, a, I heard this yesterday, and I thought that was appropriate for this guy who had started this company, and he had work with his clients, and it caused his clients to generate over $1 billion over the past, I think, 10 years he's been in business now. And he says one of the things that we do to help work with our clients is to put them on an intentional personal growth plan. In other words, there has to be books, and there's going to be conversation, discussion around those books. So we're going to talk about the concepts and ideas around that. And I said, okay, that's right up my alley, so to speak. Whether you listen to books or whether you don't, if you don't read books, you can listen to them. And and sometimes you need to understand that repetition is the mother of skill. So listen to a book over and over again. If you like going to the movies and you like watching the same movie, over and over, 10 times, there should be a book that you could want to, that's going to change the way that you think, so it can change the way that you act and change the way your philosophies and change the way that you live and produce the results on a consistent basis that you want to produce. So that's important. Well, that's what a better life is going to be about. I said it is a fan pages and a private group that's going to be on Facebook. Um, I also will, as I said, create a playlist for the same content that may be a Patreon type deal where it's available on YouTube, but at least not fully accessible to everyone. Listen, only for those who wants to be a part of the group. And so, but we're going to talk along those mindsets, and occasionally, sometimes a great discussion can be around the content. If you go to my Better Life fan page right now, you'll find a series, I mean, not a series, but a number of videos that I have posted that has some great interviews, some great training tips, some great ideas. And we're going to pull from those individuals who are already showing themselves to be an expert in the field, who's already doing things that we want to achieve in our lives. And whether it's finances, whether it's business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's health, one of the things that motivated me to create this page was that over the years, I have. I'm a fan of network marketing. Some people have an aversion to it, and I think and anybody has their own opinion about it, but I've done my due diligence and studying the industry and know enough about it to feel comfortable and vetted it out and experience some of the benefits of being a part of network marketing companies. And uh, and one of the things that um, I I, I, I've done is, as I've been a part of various types of network marketing companies, and some companies that have still, utilizing their products, utilizing their service for years, and wanted to just, avail, give someone the same opportunity it was given to me. You say, hey, here's a product, here's its value, here's its benefits. This and tell you my story, how it benefited me, and I'm not going to try and coerce you into it. You either see the value of it and want to be, take advantage of it. If you don't, then fine. What I love about those companies, the better companies, is that the cost of, they provide you an opportunity to go into business for yourself, not by yourself, to learn the business skills that you need to give yourself an opportunity to generate income apart from your job if you have a job. But if you don't have a job, says, you know what? I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do the traditional thing. I want to do something different. And the power behind it, those companies, the compensation plans that work well for the most part, you you will have uh oh Lord, hold on. I was noticing that my I hope the audio is coming in clearer now. It was peaking, and I'll get into some of my hardware that I'm using also with this simple setup. Simple setup, it's a little pricey, but it works. And so, nevertheless, I going to bring this to an end, as I said, and I was going to do a lot of little things that I have set up here and show you that, for instance, I'm going to be utilizing a whiteboard or white pad. And so when I do that, I'm going to show you something like this and have that available for you. Sometimes I'm going to show you the market, and in that I'm going to do this, bringing you up and show you some, like I'm showing you right now what Apple's doing. As you can see, Apple just climbed significantly from 152 to 157. So a 5-point jump today is a significant move for Apple, and didn't think it was going to do that. I think it's going to, the market, they keep talking about recession, recession, recession. And so if that's the case, for instance, I'm going to show you this. I love talking about the market, but the market has been going down. It's been up here around 180 back here in March, and now it's been as low as 129 here in June. Starts to retrace and come back up, but the speculation, because we're in a year they're talking about recession, even though Apple has come up today on this last day right here, on this last day from yesterday, it's gone up 6 points. It's probably going to retrace and turn around and go back down, and I'll get into this because I like talking about and I like doing a little bit of trading. Down here I use various indicators that communicate the direction or the momentum that the stock has been on. And even further down here, there is some things that I use to indicators that help me to get a perspective. It's not a guarantee, but just gives you a perspective on what's the potential direction of that particular security. And so if you watch this little pink line with these pink arrows that are pointing down, they're saying, yeah, this stock is trading on the top end for this particular range, which the past few days, and it's probably going to retrace and turn back down. Even here on this 5-minute chart, it's showing that it's going to eventually go back down, and so we got that. So I'm going to toss in some of in this conversation, A Better Life, on the financial conversation. It's going to be some talk about what the market is doing, and I'll even sometimes do this where we come in and have like and again this is, we're going to talk about a better life and all of the things that require of that. So some tools that I'm going to be using to facilitate this conversation, just so that we can I can stay on track, but I can show you some things that I've come into the knowledge of. I want to call it that. I've been trading for about 3 years now. So, and you can learn a lot. And I will tell you, if you want to get into trading, there is I'll share with you some great programs that are available, some great training, and some things that are free and some things that are not free. And sometimes you need a structured curriculum, and sometimes you can just get things off of YouTube. It just depends on your orientation. Some people are good at just taking in information from YouTube and putting it into practice. Some people need more of a structured runway a set of procedures and a streamline, I should say, a streamlined set of procedures, because there's so much online that you can go, ooh, you see that thing, you see this thing, that concept and that strategy. And, should I trade options, and should I trade futures, and should I trade Forex? You hear somebody, oh, I'm making money, just trading stocks. And you're like, so you do that for a bit and you can be all over the place. And the benefit of having experts, experts, is that you can do what they did and produce the results that they are producing, and it streamlines a whole lot of and keep you from just getting off track. So, all right, it's been about 30 minutes, and that's all I wanted this to be. So, see you on the next episode, next conversation, and hopefully we'll get this proverbial ball rolling, and build this community, and move our lives in the direction of living